What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I have for you a dinosaur, trap dinosaur actually I should say, trap dinosaur deck profile that me and my friends actually helped me put together. So shout out to my friend Richard and my friend Demir who inspired this deck. Now mine is a little bit different than their builds. So the reason my build was actually a little bit different is because I was actually missing some of the cards that I intended on playing. So if you guys want to check out the actual deck profile of what I exactly wanted to play, then you guys should check out the Discord because I do all my deck lists on the Discord. So if you guys want to check out the deck list for the trap dino, it'll be on the Discord for you guys to check out. Now this build, I went X-0 at locals 5 rounds. So my matchups were round 1 Salamangre, round 2 was Altergeist, round 3 was Shaddoll, I think. Or no, round 3 was Block BA, round 4 was Shaddoll Invoked, and round 5 was Guru. So all of them were relevant decks. I ended up 2-0ing everyone except for my friend Bill who was playing Altergeist, and that's because I actually misplayed. Sorry Bill, but I would have 2-0'd you otherwise. So I'll get into the profile, but if you guys enjoy these deck profiles, let me know in the comment section down below, and also let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. 10,000 is the goal for 2020. So to start things off, we are playing triple Soul Eating Oviraptor, triple Miscellaneousaurus. So these three, or these I guess two, but 3 of each, are the most important in your deck. This card, like these cards, just opening OV plus Missile makes so many combos in your deck that you really want to max out on these. It's actually really the best ratios. Then funny enough, I'm only playing 2 baby and 1 petite. Now in this build, you actually don't need to max out on the babies only because it's a trap build. It's a slower, more consistent build. Yes, you want to go first. The reason this deck is actually so good, and in my opinion, this deck is actually kind of nutty, is because inherently dinos can like clap going second. Like going second, like this deck can go off, right? So the thing is, when you start playing traps in it, it's like, okay, wait, all I really need is an Oviraptor to make Conductor and then just win anyways. So why don't I just play trap cards, make it so that I can go first, and then if I'm forced to go second, it doesn't really matter because I can just win inherently going second anyways. So the babies you don't actually need too much of. They actually just come up once in a while. They don't come up too much, and you actually don't want to draw these. Like you don't want to draw these at all. Lastly, you are playing 1 Giant Rex for the small monsters. So Giant Rex is actually very important. This card for some reason floats to my hand all the time, but in the True King builds, what happens sometimes is you'll get Trishulud, and if this is in your hand and they hit this, it's not the worst thing in the world, but that's rarely gonna happen. So you don't really want to draw this, but for some reason this card keeps coming to my hand. And then you are playing double Conductor Tyranno. You don't want to play triple in this build. You're not even playing Quatless or Pill, so you definitely only just want to play 2 of these because when you see it, you see it. Like the thing is, you don't need to see this turn 1, so definitely only 2 Conductor. Sorry for the glare, I'm gonna put this over here, but yeah, so definitely only 2 Conductor. You only really need it turns 2 and turn 3, like later in the game. You don't need it turn 1. You don't need to see it really early, so Conductor right there. And then lastly, 1 Pankatrops. Pankatrops is actually very important, and the reason for that is because a lot of the time you'll end on your boards, you'll use Missile to summon Petite. End phase, this will get destroyed, and then you'll summon Pank. So now it becomes Disruption on your opponent's turn, and it actually becomes really good in that sense because I'll show you why. But with the traps, what you'll end up doing is you'll set up a bunch of disruptions on your opponent's turn. So Pankatrops being one of them, maybe 1 or 2 trap cards being some more disruptions, and then on your turn when it comes back, you get to your Conductor and you're just gonna win the game in that sense. So that's really it for the monsters. I'm not playing any hand traps. This is all I'm playing for the monsters. Moving on to the spells, the most important spell card is triple Lost World. I'm playing also 1 Terraforming because Lost World is actually the most important spell card in your deck right now. So basically it gives your opponent a token, right? And that makes your matchup against so many decks so easy. Basically against the Guru player, when I had the Lost World token on his side of the field, I don't think he played Link Karibo or Link Spider or whatever in his extra deck. So what happens is now they can't target any of their things, and so a deck like Guru needs to target, right? So the token does a lot for you in that sense, but also it makes your combos, because if you guys don't know, you guys probably already do know, but if you open these 2 and then you'll give your opponent a token, you'll activate OV to pop the token, and then you'll pop a baby from your deck instead, and that's how you get a bunch of advantage. So Lost World actually does create a lot of advantage for you, and you want to see it. Definitely one of the best cards in the deck. You want to see this. As soon as you see it, you're pretty much in a really good position. Also, the fact that it makes your opponent's monsters less attack is actually kind of relevant, because a lot of the time, just like an 1800 Missile or an 1800 Oviraptor is big enough to get over monsters because of the attack difference, right? Or the attack change. So that's pretty good in that sense. Triple Fossil Dig, of course you are playing Triple Fossil Dig. You have to. It's your searcher of the deck. The reason it's actually very important is because you are playing Triple Extravagance. Yes, I know Extravagance is really expensive, don't get me wrong, but I'll get into this in a second. Pretty much the reason you want to play Triple Fossil Dig, obviously because it searches anything in your deck pretty much. With Extravagance, I understand that it's an expensive card. I understand it's hard to get, and I also understand it's not getting reprinted in Dual Overload, and we have that confirmed confirmed now, but I'm gonna tell you that locals, so the locals that I played when I went to X-0, I think it was last week when I played this and I showed you guys on the community post that I went X-0, pretty much this card never resolved. I think I resolved it one time and like 9 times I've activated it. Like I always saw this card and I was like, blast, I saw extravagance, I'm good, never resolved it. So extravagance, trust me, is not that important. What I would do if you don't want to play extravagance or you don't have the extravagances, just play hand traps. Just play triple ash or play DD Crow, something like that, because trust me, like you don't need this. It gets you through your deck, yes, but a lot of the times I would banish stuff from my extra deck, and if this would get ashed or whatever, then I would just lose. Or you can play Called by the Grave, because that's also kind of disruption in a sense. It's also really good going first because you can set it. So Called by the Grave, Ash Blossom, DD Crow, good cards to replace this. You don't need this. Trust me, you do not need this, but it is really good to have. Also, lastly, for the spell cards, I am playing double Cosmic Cyclone. So Cosmic Cyclone is really important in this deck, in my opinion. I don't know why this is not centered, but Cosmic Cyclone is really important because going first, being able to set it is really good, but it also gives you the option of going second. Obviously, it's a quick play spell card, so obviously setting it just kind of acts like a trap card in that sense. Being able to hit your opponents like Salamangreat Sanctuary or the field spell, I forget what it's called, or being able to hit like Hidden City is really good with Cosmic Cyclone. So I think this card is really good. Being able to hit Spiral Resort as well. I didn't get to play against any Spiral, but this deck actually does have a really good Spiral matchup. So Cosmic Cyclone in that sense is really good, and that's it for the spell cards. Moving on to traps, we are playing the most important trap in the deck, Triple Trap Trick. I think this needs to be played. It searches everything else in your deck. Then you are playing triple Paleozoic Marilla. So this is where I wanted to say that the traps are a little bit different than what I actually intended on playing originally. I wanted to play more Paleozoic trap cards. I only ended up playing this one. So basically the reason you play this one is because it sends a trap card from your deck to your graveyard, and then obviously it summons itself back as a normal monster, which is actually really important because I'm going to show you guys in a little bit why, but the Paleozoic monsters are really good. Lost Wind, sometimes you would send it with Marilla if you need to. Also, it's really good to draw. It's like a Solemn Strike. Compulsory Evacuation Device was probably one of the best, if not the best trap card of the day. Like I'm telling you guys, every time I bounce something, if my opponent would like set their Guru or whatever and I go compulse, because you can compulse anything, right? You compulse that and they just pass. Like maybe they'd set 1 or 2, but then they would just pass. And I was like, okay, well, I'm really good here. So Compulse is auto win against so many things. I would not cut this. I'm definitely going to keep playing this. Survival's End. Now this is a card where I actually should have played 3 of, and I actually wanted to play 3 of. I was missing the 3rd, but I'll explain why. So basically Survival's End, if you guys don't know what this card does, so you destroy as many normal monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, special summon 1 level 4 or special summon level 4 or lower dinosaur monsters from your deck up to the number destroyed, but destroying them during the end phase. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 dinosaur monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. So the reason this card is really important is for 2 reasons. 1, Marilla can send this to the graveyard, and a lot of the times if you can set up like a Marilla plus a Pankatrop, so right here, if you set up this, what you can actually end up doing is you can send this to the graveyard, activate, so this is on your opponent's turn, right? This is what I mean by disruption. You'll activate this in the graveyard to banish it, targeting Pankatrops and targeting one of your opponent's monsters, but then you can chain Pankatrops to tribute itself, target another card your opponent controls, and then this will, Survival's End will still resolve. So at that point, you're popping 2 cards. So Pankatrops pop, Survival's End pop right there. So that's really good. So that's the disruption you want to do. Also, the reason this is really good to max out on, in my opinion, so I'm only playing 2, but I think you should max out on it in the future, and I will probably max out on it in the future, is because if you open this and you can set it, it's really good with the Paleo monsters. This is what I mean by I wanted to play Dynamiscus instead of maybe Lost Winds, or up the count. This is a 40 card main deck. I could up it to like 43, 44, maybe even 45, because you get through your deck pretty quickly in this. So the reason you want to play more Paleo monsters is because they're all normal monsters on the field. So if you just set this, if you open this and you set this, and a lot of the time you can trap trick this card out, if you set this, you can pop like multiple Paleo monsters and then pop multiple cards your opponent controls. Also, with Lost World, giving your opponent a token, you can actually pop the token and pop another card they control, because it just targets any normal monsters on the field. Not on your side of the field, on the field. I would definitely recommend playing 3 of in the future, but because I was missing some cards, I did play triple Imperm. I think Imperm is actually mandatory. I don't think I would cut this at all. Obviously, you can trap trick it, but it's just a hand trap. It's like the reason why I don't play hand traps is because this is kind of like the hand trap that I'm playing, right? It's also a trap card, which makes it really good going first. That's why I kind of didn't want to play hand traps in this build, because this deck is a going first deck. So being able to go first, at least Imperm, like I can set it, right? Going second, obviously this card also just acts as a hand trap. Moving on to the extra deck, I'm going to tell you guys right now that the extra deck was not complete. I kind of put this together last minute and I'm missing stuff in it. So trust me when I say go check out the Discord, I'll have the actual deck list of what you guys should be playing in my opinion. But I'll show you guys what I played. And like honestly, you never made this. Like I only went into the extra deck like a handful of times, not even. So Idolka is one of the most important, as well as Logia. These are the only 2 you're probably going to go into. These are all kind of just utility ones. Dugaris I went into once or twice, I think. Maybe once actually only. Moral Sword I went into once. Pentastag I went into every time I could. Every time I could make this, I went into Pentastag, because that's how you just OTK your opponent. So the most important stuff in this extra deck right now, I know it's missing some stuff, so I'm playing like random stuff here. So I wouldn't play half of this, to be honest with you. I would play triple Dolka, triple Logia, Pentastag, Boral Sword, double Dweller, double Tornado Dragon, because these two come up like against the Guru Altergeist matchups and against all the graveyard heavy matchups. I wouldn't even play like Dugaris. I'd maybe play still as a one of. This I'd maybe play, maybe not even play this. These two are definitely not important. So Link Karibo and Underclock are not important. I just played them because they were generic. So trust me when I say like don't even look at my extra deck. I banished half of it all the time with Extravagance. It didn't even matter. The only thing I really ever made was Dolka and Pentastag. Like that's gonna be, I'm gonna be honest with you, the only thing I made all locals was Dolka and Pentastag. One time I made Logia, I think, but that's pretty much it. So lastly, because I topped with this, I do want to show you guys my side deck and what I was playing. I was playing one Dogran in the side deck, so I kind of was scared of like Spiral, and I'm like, I need a Kaiju, I need something to play. So at least this is a searchable Kaiju, so I did play one Dogran. I played Scythe with 2 Sanctum. Sanctum you only need to play 2 of, not 3, because you have Trap Trick. This is just an auto win if you guys resolve this. I actually never resolved this, but if you guys do, it's really good. Triple Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is obviously going second. I cited this in every time I was going second because it's just one of those like really good blowout cards against back row decks, against a lot of decks that make big boards. Evenly Matched is really good in that sense. Double Heavy Storm Duster. So this was more back row removal. Like it was really good against Guru. I think against game 2 against Guru. Then I opened a really bad hand and it opened like double Duster, like Ovi, and that was pretty much like all I could do. So I set both of these, and then he like just set 4 pass, and I was like, oh, okay, well, pop everything, and then I just kind of had control from there. So Heavy Storm Duster was really, really good in that sense. D-Barrier, oh my god, the Shadal Invoke player, I feel so bad. I feel, shout out Nick, bro, I'm sorry. This card was amazing. So you just flip Dimensional Barrier, call Fusion against Shadal, and they just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I can't play now. So he would just pass. He would just continuously pass. So even if you open poorly, like this card just makes it like unplayable for your opponent, right? So Dimensional Barrier is really good. Also, I guess if you end up playing Pendulum or Endymion or whatever, you just call Pendulum. So this card can come in against multiple matchups, but obviously the most relevant one right now is the Invoked Shadals. And then lastly, I played triple Dark Ruler No More because I was scared of Spiral. Luckily, I didn't see any Spiral, but Dark Ruler No More probably is going to stay in the side deck because I think, you know, Spiral is not a tough matchup for this deck. I think this deck has a decent matchup against Spiral, but you want to make sure that you can beat the deck as easy as possible. So Dark Ruler No More, definitely, I would not recommend changing this. I didn't side it in once, but like in theory and like realistically, if you're going to better events, you will be playing this. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also check out my social media. Everything will be linked in the description below. I'm really active on Instagram and Twitter right now, so if you guys want to check that out, definitely check it out. Link will be in the description below. Now if you guys have any suggestions for this deck profile, let me know. I've been testing and I've been working with my friends on this deck for a while. I think it's one of my personal favorite decks this format. This like is very sleeper deck. People don't know what's going on. Like when you play Dino and you make like a rank 4 and set 4, they're just kind of like, wait, what? Like, why is this happening? That's not what Dino does. So then, you know, it plays mind games with the opponent, which is why I think this deck is really good. It's one of those decks that, you know, catches people off guard, and that's really important. So if you guys enjoyed, please like, subscribe. And with that, guys, Spanko, signing off.
My hands steady, I feel ready, but my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises, you ain't stopping this, cross my shit.